We are going to continue our study of those verbal phrases, which are verbs that act like other parts of speech. And remember, a single unit is going to take a job, going to have a label as a noun, an adjective, something, but then inside that expression, all of our jobs can re-exist as far as modifiers and adjectives, prep phrases, adverbs, etc. So definition of a gerund. A gerund is an ing verb acting like a noun. And now you got to remember that nouns do very specific jobs in sentences. And so nouns can be our subjects, they can be our direct objects, they can be our indirect objects, they can be our objects of prepositions, and they can be predicate nominatives. So when we find gerunds, we're not only identifying them, but we also have to identify what part of speech they are. What job are they doing in the sentence? So again, I still always recommend finding your simple subject and your simple verb first. Lightly cross off prep phrases because gerunds can be in them, especially since they can be the object of a preposition. So example 1, reading will improve your vocabulary. Well, will improve is my action verb. Who or what will improve? Reading. There's an ing verb acting like a subject. There's your gerund. So by going through that subject, verb, direct object, predicate, nominative steps, you often will find your gerund and be done. One popular summer sport is swimming. Is my linking verb. Who or what is? Sport, subject. Linking verbs take predicate nominatives or predicate adjectives. Sport is swimming. There's an ing verb that is not the action of the sentence. That's renaming sport, predicate nominative. Now it's tempting in this example to think is swimming is your verb phrase, but look at the subject. The sport can't swim. So compare that to something like Jane is swimming laps. Now is swimming is your action verb. So be sure that you're using your comprehension to think about what is happening in the sentence. Both mom and dad enjoy cooking together. Enjoy is my action verb. Who enjoys it? Mom and dad. What do they enjoy? They enjoy cooking. Direct object. Before she decided to become a lawyer, there's a clause, she had given teaching thoughtful consideration. So I start looking for ing verbs. They must be ing. She decided, here is a verb with its subject in the clause. To become a lawyer, she had given. Here's my action verb with its subject. She had given what? Teaching. There's an ing verb that in this case is acting like a noun. Receiving the action, it's the direct object. After studying, how do you relax? Well, remember, questions, we turn it around. You do relax. So, do relax is my action verb. My subject is you. Here's a preposition. Studying in this case is a thing. It's acting like a noun. And since it's after a preposition, this is the object of a preposition. And in fact, that preposition is an adverb preposition if we think about the whole unit. To just kind of layer that grammar together for you. Now the only thing that changes with phrases, gerund phrases, is that we have to consider the modifiers. So it's that ing verb acting as a noun plus all its modifiers. And those modifiers could be prep phrases, they could be other adverbs inside, anything that belongs in that unit of thought. Now, it's often really hard to figure out where a gerund starts or stops, so we're going to be talking about that. The sudden shattering of glass broke the silence. Broke is my action verb. Who or what broke? The shattering did. There's my subject. That's obviously my gerund. Broke what? Silence. Here's my direct object. So remember how I said that finding your simple subject and your simple verbs act like fences? Wherever my gerund is, it's going to have to end before the verb. It cannot contain the verb. So shattering. Now what is going on? Of glass. Of glass tells me more about shattering. So that's part of the phrase. Sudden tells me more about shattering. So this whole thing at the beginning is the gerund phrase, and it's acting like the subject. One of my chores in the summer is mowing the lawn. Is my linking verb. Prep phrases, let's slightly cross them off. Who or what is? One. Here's your subject. One is linking verb. I need a predicate adjective or predicate nominative. Mowing is the PN. Again, is mowing might be a verb phrase in a different sentence, but when you look at this, that subject one isn't physically mowing. Okay, mowing renames one. So I know that my gerund phrase would start with mowing. Now the lawn. Does the lawn tell me more about mowing, or does it tell me more about something else in the sentence? Of course it tells me more about mowing. It's what I'm mowing, the lawn. That is your gerund phrase. And it's acting like the predicate nominative. She enjoys hiking in the mountains occasionally. Verb, enjoys, action verb. Who or what enjoys? She does. She enjoys what? Hiking. Direct object. Here's an ing verb acting like a noun. So in the mountains tells me where she hikes. Occasionally tells me when she hikes. So all of this is my gerund phrase. And I literally go through that internal dialogue, talking through all of the pieces, figuring out what do they modify. By reading the works of Pat Mora, I have learned much about Mexican culture. So, have learned, action verb. Who or what has learned? I have. I have learned what? I've learned much. Here's your direct object. Prep phrase. When I start looking up here, I see reading, and I see this word by. So there's a preposition. So reading is the opposite, or the object of the preposition. Now, where does my phrase end? The works tells me what I'm reading. This is actually the direct object of the gerund. Of Pat Mora tells me which works. So all of this functions as your gerund phrase. Now, whether you include the prep, it would be more correct to not include the preposition. I'm not that picky. So here we go. Hints. Because both present participles and gerunds end in ing, you need to be careful not to confuse them. Remember, gerunds act like nouns. They must stay in the sentence. Okay. Required. Participles, present participles, are adjectives. They're optional. You can take it out, and it will make sense. Okay, so if you go back up even to the one right before, if you take out the gerund phrase, reading the works of Pat Mora, you'd have by, comma, I have learned much. That doesn't make sense. The one before that, she enjoys. If you take out the gerund phrase. Now, she enjoys isn't a horrible sentence, but it does leave us wondering, what does she enjoy? Okay, so that's a good test. And just grammatically, when you're writing, a noun or pronoun directly before gerund should be a possessive case because something that's directly before it makes it an adjective. If you're showing possession, the cat's paws, it needs to be an apostrophe. Jane's reading of the work moved me to tears. So if you're showing possession to a noun, even if that noun is a phrase, you need to use the possessive form. Good luck on your homework.